and gentlemen, it is time for your main event, the Social Slam podcast. I am, of course, your ring announcer, Cobra, and joining me once again is Alex. Say hello, Alex.
Hello, everyone.
All right. We are at the penultimate week of the road to WrestleMania. WrestleMania is next week, by the way, and we are enthralled by what is in the pipeline. Obviously, we can't overlook the main events with Roman Reigns and CM Punk on night 1, and of course, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes on night 2. Speaking of that, we are also hearing confirmation that WrestleMania in its entirety will be a 9-hour show. Obviously, that WrestleMania definitely runs long, but wow. 9 hours of just pure content coming from Las Vegas. This is exceptional. A lot of matches in the cards too. So, Alex, before we review the card for night 1 and night 2, what is your opinion on a 9-hour WrestleMania?
Definitely a longer WrestleMania than we've seen in years past, breaking it down by the time frames of pre-show, main show, and after show. Definitely a lot longer than we're used to. Hopefully I can stay up for the 4-hour main show. I'm not gonna watch the full pre-show. It's I think 2 hours long, and the after show is 3 hours long. Not in my time frame. This is not the Super Bowl. What are we doing here? Why are we making it so long? It starts 7 p.m. a little early, so hopefully it should end around 12 or 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If not, then it will be a longer WrestleMania than I'm used to, and crossing my fingers I don't fall asleep watching it because that will be bad on my part. And luckily, Satan Delivered is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so early in the day, so I don't have to double watch both wrestling events in the same day. So hopefully it's a good show, and hopefully I can keep my eyes open long enough.
And of course, welcome Billy. Welcome to the Social Slam podcast, friend.
Hi there, gentlemen.
All right. It's great to see you once again, Billy. Let's glance over this a little bit. Billy, 9-hour WrestleMania. What the hell are we doing?
I don't fucking know. Like, the first
I
things
don't
first
either.
is
I mean, go ahead.
the first things first is just eliminate the pre-show entirely, unless you have like a couple of matches here and there, which they don't anymore. Or, secondly,
Yeah, I mean, this ain't the Andre the Giant Battle Royale. I mean, we don't need appetizers anymore. To be fair.
yeah, I'm well aware. The main card we all know is going to be 4 hours longer than expected. And then you have the post show, so that combines all into 9 hours. Fortunately.
Yep. And speaking And speaking of night 1. Okay, I gotta all right. Let me get those. Match card night 1. All right, this is coming night 1. Obviously we have CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, the main event. We have Jade Cargill and Naomi. We have the War Raiders versus the New Day. Rey Mysterio versus not Chad Gable. El Grande Americano. L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
versus Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the Women's Championship. And Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. I want to talk about Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for a minute, because this has definitely turned into a bit of a shoot. To definitely be fair, considering the promos that they've had and the altercations that they have been having. I'm going to start with Alex first, then defer to Billy, then I'm going to talk a little bit about it as well. Go ahead, Alex.
I am not liking this match being on night one and not being the main event. I feel like this match deserves main event stardom. I get it. Charlotte Flair has won her titles. This is Tiffany's, I believe, first WrestleMania as the women's champion. This is a big spotlight for her to be in. And I swear, if they put the title on Charlotte Flair, I will go berserk. I'm sick and tired of watching Charlotte Flair get pushed to title matches, winning for no reason, and then losing 6 months later to some non-title contender because she has to, because she's a Flair. So if Triple H puts the title on her, I'm going to lose my mind. I want Tiffany to retain. I want this match to be a main event match, but it won't be. The card's way too long to put it as main event, and it's disrespectful for Tiffany Stratton to have her as a mid-card match with the biggest title in the women's division right now.
I agree with you on that. I agree that this should be a main event, at least at night one. But I think the John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and the CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins definitely went out on the main event spot.
Yeah.
All things considered, I think CM Punk was promised a main event this year. He was promised it last year, but his bicep blew out. Billy,
Yeah.
anything you want to add?
No, not at all.
All right.
I'm just gonna
Let's
make
also.
my time. I'm just gonna make my time here short and quick because I got a game to run and to promote
All
my
right.
YouTube stream for NXT Stand and Deliver.
All right. All right. All right, Billy. Hey, we appreciate your time in the ring, my friend. We
That's
appreciate
fine.
your time every time you come on here.
Alrighty. See you guys later.
See ya. All right. Thank you, Billy. So we also have LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu night one. This is definitely something I've been looking forward to, because LA Knight is a top caliber wrestler. I think he's deserving of at least one or two world titles. So either I see him, but I see him going after a world title later on. But yeah. Alex, what's your opinion on this matchup?
It's definitely a weird match for sure. Jacob Fatu hasn't been plugged into any singles titles yet, a part of the Souls of Cobra bloodline. And this is a weird matchup because he kind of just was thrown into LA Knight's path to the US title. He attacked him. He was made the match at WrestleMania. He's been a part of destroying LA Knight in the past couple weeks before WrestleMania. Definitely a weird one for sure. And not really a match I'm looking forward to watching. I think Knight's going to win and retain. I feel like he should lose the US title to a bigger and better opponent than a Jacob Fatu, who's very quiet, self-reserved, and doesn't talk barely in the bloodline. All he says is, "I love you, Solo," which means nothing to anybody but Solo Sikoa. So it's definitely a weird title match for Jacob Fatu. Bringing his first solo title run is not being thrown into the US title shot for no reason. There were better opponents for LA Knight than Fatu at Mania.
And in my opinion, that better match is Gunther versus Jey Uso. And the reason why I say that is because obviously we know that Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. but obviously it was one of those type of moves, if that makes sense. But I think this is going to be an interesting match considering how, this is speed versus power. Gunther's power versus Jey Uso's speed. This is definitely the interesting power dynamic.
Oh yeah, definitely agree. Especially with Gunther losing to an opponent at the size of Jey Uso in Sami Zayn not that long ago. Oh, I think it's about a year ago at this point. He lost last year to Sami Zayn. So crossing my fingers, maybe if Jey Uso can get it done. This feud has been so personal between Gunther and Jay going after, Gunther going after Jimmy, Jay telling Gunther to hold his family close because he's going to end him at WrestleMania Night 1. Definitely a very, very personal feud and a great way to push Gunther and hopefully push Jey Uso over because he needs to get over in the singles title picture.
All right. And of course, the final match we're going to take a huge look at is the Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins triple threat. Obviously there is a tug of war for Paul Heyman with Roman Reigns and CM Punk, but it is clear to me that this is a feud that has been bubbling to the surface ever since CM Punk came back. That is not hyperbole. That is actually a fact. That's on you, Alex.
Oh yeah, I definitely do agree with the feud bubbling over since the very beginning. Obviously, Roman Reigns and Seth have history. The Shield, Seth turning on Roman, the Shield, Roman hating Seth ever since then. WrestleMania 40 last year, where Seth sacrificed his body to help Cody win the title. CM Punk and hating Seth Rollins, Rollins hating Punk, Roman hating Punk, and it all, continuing the Royal Rumble, where they eliminated each other. Seth cost Punk at the Elimination Chamber. This has been going on for 10 plus years in the background of both AEW and WWE with all the locker room toxicity that CM Punk has, and apparently it's now spreading to other wrestlers with press conferences and stuff like that with Punk and his toxicity in the locker room. This match is going to be deadly, and I think that Heyman's going to walk out of Mania on the shoulder of Seth Rollins. I feel like he's going to be a Seth Rollins guy after this match. He's been there for CM Punk before. He's been there for Roman Reigns.
No.
Heyman,
I highly disagree with
Rollins.
you, Alex. Let me stop you right there. I highly disagree with this. See, this is what I predict, and I predict this. Heyman doesn't Heyman walk out on the entire match. Like that's the thing. He'll turn his back on Roman Reigns, he'll turn his back on CM Punk, and he definitely will not join Seth Rollins. He'll just straight up walk away from the entire match. Like, it's like, why am I here? Type of mindset. Like everyone wants him to pick a side. Like Roman wants him to join him. CM Punk wants him to join him. Seth Rollins is down and out. And Paul Heyman chooses none. Paul Heyman just goes, I'm just going to step away. That type of move I see at WrestleMania at night 1. And Seth Rollins wins purely on distraction by Paul Heyman. Like, Paul Heyman will be the root cause of the distraction, but it's because Paul Heyman walks out.
Interesting point of view on that for sure.
Yeah. Like, it's a very interesting point of view that I have on that one. All right, so let's go to 2. So Night 2, we have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Tag team match for WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. AJ Styles and Logan Paul. Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. Fatal 4-way Intercontinental title match. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. And of course, the main event, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. You know what? I want to talk about the Fatal 4-way for a minute. Braun Breaker, definitely one of the top tier talents. I see him as a world champion in 2026. I see it. I see it too quickly. I see it. He is your next world champion next year. He wins the Royal Rumble, and at WrestleMania, he's going for the title. Hot take. But that's enough of that. This has the ingredients for a wonderful match. Braun Breaker, obviously in the Steiner mold of brute force power. You have Pentagon. You have Penta. I almost said Pentagon Jr., but that's what he is. Penta is one of the hottest free agents out there and one of the hottest acts right now. Finn Balor, who kind of dropped off after his WWE Universal title win, needing a boost up to get back to where he was. And Dominic Mysterio, the slimiest heel in wrestling as we speak right now. This looks great. Alex, chime in.
Oh, I definitely agree with you. This match has been brewing for the past month now. Obviously, Braun Breaker retaining his title, Penta challenging him, Finn Balor trying Judgment Day, going after Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio getting involved with it. This is going to be an amazing match. Braun Breaker has not been given good competition to retain his title. It hasn't been in this situation in a long time. He doesn't need to be pinned to lose the title at WrestleMania, which is a crazy situation. These Fatal 4-way matches and triple threat matches that the champion doesn't need to be pinned to lose this title. I do think Braun's going to retain, though, but I think the Judgment Day is going to get involved with this a lot more than we think, with Dominic being in there. I'm not sure about Finn getting help by Carlito and the Judgment Day. They've been kind of beefing a lot. This Finn doesn't like Dominic talking for the Judgment Day and talking to recruit people in the Judgment Day like Penta, that they've been trying to get Penta into the Judgment Day because he has that, that fierce, dark magic tone to like Damian Priest to add, when Damian Priest was there, Penta has that aura to him. It seems like that Dominic feels.
Let me chime
This
in
is
about
be-
that.
Go ahead.
I think that I do agree with you that the Dominic Mysterio Finn Balor, rivalry is going to bubble up to the surface. I don't think Penta joins Judgment Day at all. I think he's happy being his own guy. I think it'd be a mistake to put him in that faction. I think it'd be better if they made him like a wandering Avenger, like a free agent, if that makes sense. More like I'm a person. I go my own way. I don't need anyone's help. So there's that. But yeah, this is, sorry to interrupt about that, but I do agree this is definitely going to be a very interesting matchup, especially when you have power versus speed is always a great dynamic, especially with three great speedsters.
Oh, yeah, definitely for sure. And I'm definitely excited for this.
And before we get to the main event, the other match I want to take a look at is the Io Sky versus Bianca Belair and Ripley, the triple threat for the Women's World Title. Rhea Ripley has been in this scenario before. She has main evented WrestleMania and had one hell of a match. Rhea Ripley, second verse, same as the first. She's in here. She had a great match at WrestleMania last year against the now retired Becky Lynch. And Io Sky being the champ. I think this is going to be a fantastic match because on paper, it has the makings of being that.
I do 100% agree. I've been busting Adam Pearce all like the past 2 months now to make this a triple threat match. I've been screaming at him every time I watch Raw, where Rhea's out there and she signed the contract to grow some balls and make this a triple threat match because Rhea wants it, and Io wants it, and Bianca wants it, and he finally did it. I'm glad he finally came to his senses and did it because this match is made for a main event match. And unfortunately, it's not going to be a main event. Like I said, card's way too big. There are too many big names on the card to make every match a main event. Then the card would be like 16 hours long, and no one has time to watch that much wrestling. But I do like this match. You know, we have the high flying Rio Sky, the strength of Bianca Belair, and the strength of Rhea Ripley. And I think that the high flying is going to take advantage. And I think Io is going to extend her reign as women's champion. I wouldn't be surprised if Bianca gets another title reign. I think Rhea Ripley getting another title reign, I think it's too late for her. She's had her reign, she had her time. And I think that it's time for Bianca to get her singles title back again because she lost it in insane terms against Becky Lynch in 6 seconds. That I was astonished by at SummerSlam, I think like 3 or 4 years ago. It was not fun to watch at all. And I hope this is going to be a 5-star match. It's going to be a 5-star match in my personal opinion. And thank you, Adam Pearce, for putting your big boy pants on and making this a triple threat match because Rhea Ripley would have probably put you through a table because she would not have liked you.
Oh yeah. Another way to say it, this would have been the main event if not for the main event. And that would be, of course, John Cena facing the champion, Cody Rhodes. Like, there's nothing more to say about this match. This is John Cena's last WrestleMania, and this looks like this is going to be something special this year. We're not going to discuss this match because, the story has already wrote itself, and we already talked about it before. We talked about how John Cena's heel turn was unexpected, but it's perfect. All I got to say is, how do you think both WrestleManias? How do you think they're going to perform this year? Is this going to be better than last year, or do you think this is going to be one of the best, or do you think this is going to underperform?
It's a tough question because the card is so big. There are like 3 or 4 matches that shouldn't even be on this card that we know just by looking at the card shouldn't be here. Obviously, the 3 matches of just SmackDown and Raw potential matches and leaving the Street Profits out of the WrestleMania card, Chelsea Green out of the WrestleMania card, and shockingly, for the first time in almost 20 years, The Miz does not have a WrestleMania match. It's kind of crazy to think about that they're leaving so many big people off the card this year. I think it's going to underperform from last year's WrestleMania because it was Cody finishing the story, the overbooked match of Cody and Roman with the John Cena, The Undertaker, The Rock, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, all these people helping Cody Rhodes. It's not going to be like that. It's not going to, I think it's going to underperform from last year, but it's going to be up to par to where Seth Rollins at the height of the century in 2014. I think it's going to be up to par to that WrestleMania, but underperforming from last year's WrestleMania.
And that's a very interesting take to have. I think the opposite. I think this will be better than last year because I think the main event will not have so many moving parts. Like you said, there were so many people running in trying to make sure that the story was fulfilled, that the story was finished. I think with not many moving parts, that of this storyline between John Cena's final WrestleMania, and Cody Rhodes defending his title against John Cena. I don't think it's going to have that many moving parts. Therefore, I think it's going to be a better main event and a better product. Anywho, before we get into AEW, let's talk about the Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame. So, all right, so we have the list of inductors. We have Shawn Michaels coming in to induct Triple H. The Undertaker will induct his wife, Michelle McCool. DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, will induct Lex Luger. And CM Punk will be inducting the WrestleMania 13 matchup between Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Although I expect not only Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart being there, I also expect Ken Shamrock being there as well, because he was a part of that match. So far, no one has been revealed to be the inductor of the natural disasters. But I expect it to be either one of three people. Either Jimmy Hart, Ted DiBiase, or maybe even Jake the Snake Roberts. Three people who definitely have been impactful in Earthquake's career, one of the natural disasters themselves. But let's talk about WrestleMania 13. That match, the Bret Hart match is, Bret Hart Stone Cold Steve Austin match being inducted is very important. So Alex, since WWE is now open to inducting great matches like this, what match do you think deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Call me crazy, but I'm going to say Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for WrestleMania 31 was one of the craziest main events we've ever seen. Obviously, we knew Seth Rollins was looming in the background with the Money in the Bank briefcase. He was looming to cash in. No one has ever cashed in and won on WrestleMania ever. We've seen fair cash-ins at WrestleManias before. We've seen fair cash-ins all the time. They happen. We've seen them. They happen all the time. But Seth Rollins did it, and did it against two of the biggest heels of the time frame of WrestleMania 31,
Hold
Roman
up.
and Brock.
Correct that. Brock Lesnar was a heel, yes. Roman Reigns is supposed to be a babyface, but he was just hated by the fans because we knew what Roman Reigns represented, which was a non-genuine milquetoast white meat babyface that everyone hates. Everyone hates when they're pushed. So, correction. But yeah.
Definitely.
I will say this. If I were to induct a match, the only one to me that makes sense is the trendsetter. And that would be WrestleMania 3's Ricky Steamboat versus Randy Savage for the Intercontinental title. Not only did that match steal the show at WrestleMania 3, but it's 2025. I believe WrestleMania 3 was in 1987. That match is almost 40 years old. The match is almost 40 years old, and we're still talking about it. You could turn it on. It's on YouTube. But you can turn it on, and you just look at it, and you're like, wow, that holds up today. It's not the classic. It's not classic 80s schlock. Like, it performs like a clinic, and it's a great match. I recommend any one of our listeners, and even you, Alex, I know you haven't seen it, watch that match. that match deserves to be framed. Framed and preserved for forever. Because that is the trendsetter.
There was a reason I know this WrestleMania, because that was when Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. That was the Power Slam heard around the world, WrestleMania 3, 1987.
Yeah. Again, that WrestleMania is almost 40 years old. But the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Randy Savage match stole the show that night. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant may have been the main event, but that was the match everyone walked away from going, wow, that is peak wrestling.
There should have been main event.
Should have been. But we know Vince McMahon had a secret fetish for big sweaty men after all, and nothing says big sweaty men like Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah.
That piece of shit. So All Elite Wrestling, they're definitely doing a interesting talent purge. Obviously with Miro, aka Rusev, coming back to WWE, which I expect to see him night one. The Raw after WrestleMania. I expect to. And we also have Chris Jericho, potentially not resigning with AEW after his contract is up. He is currently going to be on tour with Fozzy. So, that's interesting. But AEW seems to be not doing as well as they should. Alex.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We've seen this happen before. Tony Khan has a overstocked roster with not enough places to put them. Miro's going back to WWE, Market Black's going back to WWE. We've seen CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and a slew of other AWS wrestlers jumping the ship that were made for AEW.
Jade Cargill.
Yeah. The list continues. I can make a scroll of the names that have left AEW to go back to WWE. I think Chris Jericho is going to be leaving AEW eventually. We saw him blow up against the Lonely Tree last week, smashing the TV that showed his logo, saying that he's not mad, he's disappointed that they won the tag titles at Dynasty against the Syndicate, which we now formally as the Hurt Business with Shorty Benjamin, MVP, and Bobby Lashley, saying that he's not disappointed, he's mad, screaming at them, storming out of the building, and then create havoc. And I think this is
Addendum.
Tony Khan's fault at this point in time.
Addendum. So with that, do you think next year the headliner for the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2026, do you think it's Chris Jericho?
Oh, I 100% agree. I've mentioned him on this podcast before, talking about Hall of Famers that are not Hall of Famers that should be Hall of Famers, and Jericho has not been in the Hall of Fame inducted yet. He has the resume, extent resume, to be in the Hall of Fame. If Triple H doesn't put in the Hall of Fame next year, I don't know what is wrong with him. He deserves it. He needs to be put in there. With all due respect to Triple H, he's been running the business great, but he's going to get a bad grade from me next year after Mania if he doesn't do this at WrestleMania 42, because I'm not sure what the card will be next year, knowing what will happen next weekend, or even in the future of 8 months from now to the Royal Rumble next year. It could all be changed. The whole atmosphere could be different between new champions and new atmospheres for everything. But Jericho needs to be inducted next year. If he does return, just get inducted in the Hall of Fame and not even wrestle. If he just comes back to get inducted, I'll be really happy.
Right. And also I'm gonna say this, I said this before, I'll say it again. do you think Joe Hendry faces John Cena this year in any capacity?
That's only if John Cena gets demoted to NXT or goes to TNA and wrestles there, because Joe Hendry usually wrestles on NXT or TNA, and John Cena has never appeared on NXT ever in his career, because he came up in WWE to fight Kurt Angle to then ascend in WWE, so he's never even touched the indie scene. So I love Joe Hendry. I know he talks about facing John Cena and wants to face John Cena, and he wants to, but it's just not in the cards for Triple H. And I don't think it's going to be in the cards ever. And I know you want it, Cobra, but I don't see it happening ever.
I mean, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Yeah. I mean, I have always been a fan of Joe Hendry, even way before he made his jump to TNA. I loved him when he was the local hero, Joe Hendry, over in England. With his music spots. He did one on Mr. Anderson, the former Mr. Kennedy. But anywho. What else were we gonna do today? Oh, that's right. That is right. Oh, what did you say? Okay. All right. I'll look at that later. So that is. Do we have anything else to add, Alex? Do you think that is it?
I think that is it. But I do want to add to my list of matches that should be inducted in the Hall of Fame eventually, knowing that they're about to do that again. I forgot to mention one of the biggest TLC matches in WrestleMania history of the tag team title ladder match between Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardy Boys. One of the craziest TLC matches ever, with the most iconic moment ever, where Edge spears, I think it's Jeff Hardy, off the titles from a ladder. Craziest moment. I should have did that instead of the WrestleMania 31 match. I don't know what's wrong with me, but that should be inducted way more than WrestleMania 31.
Smoke weed every day. Yeah, see, I don't know why you want the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match anyway. It should have been either TLC 1 or 2, or hey, even if we're going to go with ladders, let's go with Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 10, or hell, even Brett versus Owen Hart, WrestleMania 10, the greatest match opener of any WrestleMania. Like, you could have gone with that route. But speaking of WrestleMania, I unfortunately have to remind you that this podcast was brought to you by the only place to get official WWE gear, and that is Fanatics. Fanatics. The only place to get official WWE gear. That includes official WWE titles. That also includes John Cena merch. That includes other, Cody Rhodes merch, and any other of your favorite wrestlers. Not only do they have WWE, they also have the major sporting leagues like the NFL, MLB, NBA, NCAA, and the NFL. And of course, the PGA. Congrats to Rory McIlroy. They also, it is currently Nike Week. So 20, so they're currently having a 20% off sale this week only. But if you want to get these fine products, why don't you use our affiliate link in the bio wherever you get your podcasts? Show the channel some love. Fanatics. And of course, thank you for joining us for the Social Slam podcast. the Social Sports Pad Podcast Network thanks you for listening. But don't forget our other podcasts. We have Miss Penalties, our hockey podcast that Alex and I do. We have the Dirt and Turf podcast. That would be our baseball podcast with Kat, Tyler, and myself. We also have the Lap Down with with our friend Greg, who has been on the podcast twice. Hopefully he does return. We miss having him on the podcast as well. We love him. And of course, the Hard Count, our NFL podcast. We are returning after the draft to discuss our draft picks and how happy we are about those picks. We are also going to be launching a college football podcast hosted by Tyler. That will be called Pass in the Pigskin. That podcast is returning. So be on to listen for that. Also check out our other affiliates. I will not name them, but they are there. Things like Raw Nutrition, Bulletproof Coffee, W Energy, etc. We're also on YouTube and TikTok. So if you are listening on YouTube, thank you. For TikTok, we open as long as the government allows it, because the government, the reason nothing works. And well, that's it for, like I said, that's it for Social Slam Podcast. I'm Cobra, and on behalf of Alex, ring that bell. Ding, ding, ding. Thank you for listening.